Hello and welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to talk about things I really would have liked to know before I relocated here to Thailand. Now the first thing would be not to go ahead and find a house, a condo, apartment, whatever, by using a website and go ahead and putting a deposit down on it before I actually get here and see it, because it's really good to know what area you're moving to if it's going to work for you. You don't want to sign a 6-month or a year-long lease and you get here and move in and find out you absolutely hate this area. So what I would tell you to do if you are looking to relocate here, either short-term or long-term, I would tell you to come here and at least rent a hotel for a long period, like let's say 2 or 3 weeks, give you a chance to look around, or consider like an Airbnb for about 2 or 3 weeks. So it just gives you some time to look around with a realtor, because it's not gonna cost you anything to do that, to show you around and show you the different areas, the pros and cons to all of them, and then figure out, what are you going to be doing on a daily basis? Like if you're coming here to get a job, let's say as an English teacher, and you're constantly going to be going to a particular school, you may want to live closer, you may want to live further away, depending. You can find that out if you have time to spend a few weeks here looking around at the different areas. I also wish I knew, since we're on the subject anyway, at how important location is here. You can look on a map, while you're sitting at home in your home country and go, oh, let's see, I need to be here every day, but there's a home or an apartment way over there. That doesn't seem like too bad of a drive until you drive it, till you figure out that some of these routes are just torn up with traffic. Meaning, this happened to us. We ended up moving somewhere the first time to get anywhere was just like pulling teeth because of the routes we had to go. As a matter of fact, where we live now, our second home, for a while I thought we kind of messed up because the roads that we constantly had to take were always crowded, until we found out that there were some back streets that we can take to go to the places that we need to go all the time. So location is key. Another thing that would have been nice to know before I got here is, how will I pay my utilities? Meaning, it's kind of, no one really tells you. It's like, where do I go? What do I do? The easy way is you can go for your water and your electric. You can go to the 7-Eleven and just pay them right there. I know they do have some sort of scan apps that you can use. That's a little advanced, meaning I haven't figured out how that works. I know my wife has, but I have not, so I can't really share that with you. But there is a way to scan and pay it via your phone. And there's also, well, you could go and pay it manually just in the electric company or the water company, which wouldn't be a whole lot of fun, especially if you don't know how to speak Thai. If you're renting a condo, you may not have to go anywhere at all. It may be already in your rent. So it really depends on your certain situation. Another thing I wish I would have done ahead of time would have been to get my motorcycle license while I was still in the US. Because that way I could have moved over here when I'm fresh, don't know the language or anything, and all I would have to do to get a motorcycle license here is watch a safety video, pay a little bit of money, and I would have had a motorcycle license. But since I did not, I had to go through the training, which lasted a couple of days. Some schools are 3 days. So I had to go through all that in order to get my motorcycle license. I already had my car license, so I got to do the easy process with the car license, but I had to go through everything for the motorcycle license. Another thing you may want to work out before you come to Thailand is how you're going to get your money transferred to Thailand, and specifically like a Thailand bank account, efficiently. So you're not constantly having to go to the ATM and having to pay a bunch of fees to use your money that's still in your home country. One of the things we use, it was formerly known as TransferWise. Now they've changed their name to Wise. We use that service. There may be others. That is the one that works for us, and that is the one that is the most cost-effective that we have researched. And another thing that I wish that I would have known to pay attention to is the exchange rate, and how important that really is before you transfer your money from your home country to Thailand. Because if you time it just right, let's say the exchange rate works in your favor, your baht will go a lot further once it's transferred from your home country to buy. Another thing I wish I've known, and I've done some videos on this already, are the cultural do's and don'ts before you move here. So I've had to learn everything the hard way. I think I've made every mistake known to mankind, only to have someone observe it and say, hey man, you really shouldn't be doing that. You don't need to be pointing at people like this. You don't need to be waving like this. Your left hand issues and everything else, the do's and don'ts around here. But you learn them. Anyway, if you are concerned about the do's and don'ts, I'll make sure to put a link in the description down below so you'll know ahead of time. Napkins, they have napkins, some places do not, restaurant-wise. And the napkins they do have are like, they're thinner than tissue paper, and they just fall apart. So you really need to learn to bring some napkins with you whenever you go out to eat. Something little, but it would have been good to know. Also, it would have been good to know that my food will not be brought out at the same time as everybody else that I'm eating with. If it does happen, it's a rarity. Sometimes you're gonna get your food 15 to 20 minutes before everyone else gets their food, or vice versa. Don't let that freak you out, and don't lose your temper on that one. I wish I would have been properly prepared for, I'm gonna call it toilet etiquette. What do I mean by that? Well, things with the toilet are a little bit different than what I'm used to in the United States. In the United States, you have a toilet, you sit on that toilet, and you usually have toilet paper as long as it's provided. Here, you have a toilet, or you have what I call the squatty potty, where you hover over the hole and do your business there. So there's a learning curve between those two, and sometimes you're gonna go into a bathroom here and there won't be any toilet paper, and you're like, okay, now what do I do? Well, if you look to the right or left, depending on, should be on the right, you're gonna see a water gun where you can get yourself clean. Now, I've never found anything to dry yourself with, but you can definitely hose down with it. So just know, there's a little bit of toilet etiquette here that you gotta learn. Another thing, you may not see toilet paper in the actual stall, but you probably missed it on your way to the stall. It's actually out where the sinks are, and you gotta get it ahead of time. I also would have liked to known ahead of time about the website Lazada, which is Thailand's version of Amazon. That's where you could find everything. And that way I could have researched ahead of time, go on Lazada and see what I can get and what I cannot get. So I'm properly prepared for what I need to bring to Thailand when I come. I'll put a link to Lazada down in the description below. I also wish I would have known ahead of time how important having a Thailand bank account is. It's very important for not only being able to pay bills here, but also scanning at restaurants where you can scan with your bank account here in Thailand. And it also gave me a place to transfer my money from the US to Thailand. So having that account is paramount. It was more important than I originally thought, and I have a Thai debit card, which is also very helpful. I also wish I would have been properly prepared about the noise level that you'll have over here. Now again, that's going to depend where you're at in Thailand. Are you out in the country? Are you in the city? Are you in a neighborhood? It's really going to depend. But we came, when Kendall and I moved here, we were in South Carolina and we were in the country. Our town did not even have a red light. The little town called 6 Mile, and no, it's not 6 miles long, 6 Mile in South Carolina. Very small town, very quiet. Moved here and we're in a neighborhood. I thought, okay, that'll be kind of quiet. Nope, you hear parties going on down the road. It may be a good kilometer or two down the road, but you still hear the music because the Thais love to have their music cranked up. It would have also been nice to know ahead of time what grocery stores did have in the grocery store, meaning, are there things that I'm used to? Can I find those over here? And we did find them, and I'm not sure these stores are on all of Thailand. I'm in Chiang Mai, which is up north, but we have 3 that are really good about carrying Western products, and that's Tops, T-O-P-P-S, and that's Rimping and Big C Extra. They're fairly decent on carrying some things that we would have in the Western countries. Now, when I was putting together this list, I asked my wife, what's something you wish you would have known ahead of time? She said, I wish I didn't bring so many clothes because they have so many nice clothes here. I don't know why I thought I had to bring so many clothes. So just keep that in mind. That's coming from a woman, not a man, that they do have plenty of nice clothes and things here, and maybe you don't need to pack so many suitcases if you're moving here for the long haul. Maybe you want to just buy new stuff when you're here. And the last thing on my list is I wish I would have known that having animals, pets here, would be so easy. It is easier than what we thought it was going to be. We brought our 2 dogs from the United States. We were moving here, we're like, I wonder, how common it is for pet grooming and dog boarding and what kind of dog foods they have, and do they have good medical care for animals? Yes to all that stuff. Thais do like their animals. There's lots of pets here in Thailand. There are lots of animal hospitals. There's lots of very nice pet stores with lots of selections, and even, more hard to find gourmet selections of dog food. If you're really picky about what your cat, dog, or other animal eat, they have it all here, not to worry. Now, I would like to do some shout outs for those of you who helped support the channel. So we're gonna start, I've got a list here. I'm gonna start with the ones that donated to the channel on Buy Me a Coffee. We have Alfonso, thank you, Alfonso. Carlos, again, thank you very much. Stefan, thank you, Stefan. Miriam and Robert, thank you, Miriam and Robert. And this is a screen name, so it's New Wave 2527. Thank you, New Wave 2527. Also, I'd like to give thank yous to the ones that donated on Super Thanks. That's that little button down below that says thanks. Given is Vineth, V-I-N-E-E-T-H, Vineth. Richard A, thank you very much. Dennis K, Frederick J, thank you guys. And this last one is a screen name. I wonder how many of you are gonna know what this is in reference to. If you know, it's a cartoon, I'll give you that. Leave it down in the description, just curious. Anyway, it's El Kabong, El Kabong. So if you know what El Kabong is a reference to, let us know down in the comments. But thank you very much for watching the channel. If you haven't subscribed, please consider subscribing. And if you want to join us on Patreon and donate to the channel on a monthly basis, join us on Patreon. We do have some unique behind the scene things that we do post only on Patreon and Buy Me a Coffee. Also, there's a thanks button down at the bottom there. You can see it down in the navigation for the video. You can give there too, and we really do appreciate it. And until next time, Kap Kun Kap.